Strife not only increases the defensive value of versatility by 50%, so killing people in stuns is a lot easier
I'm
when
so
they're not
happy.
ice blocked in the stun, so you're going to see a lot more rogues. Mistweaver had the cooldown of their life cocoon basically increased by 20 seconds, I believe, maybe 25 seconds, so they can't just use life cocoon kind of willy-nilly in between and avoid stressful situations as much. Paladin has become a bit better because it was almost as efficient with Ineffable Truth. It makes all of their really powerful cooldowns that are normally long very short. So they get the efficiency of their cooldowns, they get powerhouse healing, they get strong damage. So Paladin, in my opinion, I think is contesting for best healer at the moment.
Okay, now that we do have that in mind, we're going to be jumping down to Nagrand. Going to get this one started very quickly. Keep in mind, brand new series. We're back to blind pick. You already heard from Zico some of the things he expected to see. Now it's all in front of us, and the gates are about to open.
This is, I like this a lot. M2KC, this is exactly what I want to see. And this is what I was most curious about. If anyone is going to be able to implement the Rogue Mage Paladin at a high level and destroy Cloud9 with it, because I feel like it's one of those compositions that really should win. Hammer of Justice on Cubsy, huge spite all in on Chanimal. Immediate unending resolve, and M2KC with a very explosive start.
All right, let's see if they can keep it rolling here. With that start, they're going to be in a solid position, and yeah, the Gladiator Spite is a great counter to the Mage Lock. I mean, we saw, look at this crowd control of the Things from Beyond.
That's
Chanimal
hilarious.
banished one and then feared the other. That would have been two Things from Beyond just smacking him while nobody was even next to him.
That was actually amazing. Chanimal implementing, his PvE crowd control. I raid with crowd control. Raid with Chanimal, so I know he's very good at it. Once again, another Thing from Beyond gonna get feared off, and that's the problem if you're not continuing. I almost would. I guess they got the wall. That's all they wanted, right? And I think for the Rogue Mage Paladin, that's exactly what you do. You go in, you do a big all in with your crowd control, then you just sit back and wait. And it looks like M2KC, once again, they're going to be initiating crowd control if they can. Wealthy Man shutting it down a little bit with a polymorph onto Brain. Animal could be in some trouble, but they're not able to push in and get any CC onto Cubsy. Chanimal with a very defensive positioning is making it really difficult for M2KC to push in.
I think they were trying to bait him to use Demonic Gateway. They didn't want to go for the spites. They thought Chanimal might try and instantly gate, and they could bait him and then use them on the next kidney shot, but Chanimal didn't fall for the bait. So yeah, M2KC, their strategy is just going to be kidney shot Chanimal, spite him, try and overcorrupt him, and do so much damage that it's just not healable. And in between those attempts, it's kind of up to Cloud9 to try and get something going, at least maybe tax Brain's mana.
Oh no!
He is slightly behind.
Oh, Wealthy Man made such a big mistake. I'm looking at his gear. He's got Fire Azurite traits on right now as a Frost Mage. That is so unfortunate. You're going to be missing out on a ton of damage. I actually feel like Frost Mage is one of the most reliant specs on your Azurite gear, so super unfortunate for Cloud9, and that's really going to limit the damage Wealthy Man's going to be able to put out.
Also, Cubsy's not running Conflict, so I feel like going after Cubsy could be an option if he ever puts himself in a bad spot. Roasties, while he was pushing in, got intercepted. He's overextended! Has to trade out his whole defensive lineup on one fear. And that's the dangers of making pushes against Cloud9. He's still playing out in the deep end of the pool right now against Cloud9. They're going for the Gladiator Spite, but not with much health left. He goes for Vanish. Kidney shot. They've stacked Chanimal up in that Gladiator Spite. They're looking to overload him and try and push through any defense here from Cloud9. Vitality Conduit, though, is healing quite effectively. And it looks like Imp is being played for Chanimal, so he dispels that polymorph. Cubsy instantly out of that crowd control. And out of that exchange, M2KC fell pretty far behind. That was not a good trade.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Wealthy Man getting crowd controlled in the midfield. Cerulean with good control so far. Brain trading out his trinket. He's not going to have that for the next attempt, and it could be scary. I mean, Cerulean, he needs to get to a pillar. There's really good pressure here for Cloud9 as they continue to make a push, and that's the thing. I mean, for Wealthy Man, he's going to basically have to force out solo pressure. He's going to have to deny the goes of M2KC. Definitely not an easy thing to do, but that's really his role in this match. He has to be basically a wall to prevent M2KC from getting to Chanimal too easily. And if he can do that, if he can get the polymorph onto Brain and find some counter pressure, I mean, that's going to be basically the best thing he can do in the match.
Okay. Roasties is still at half health on the pillar. Cubsy's trying to roll in, but he cheat torpedoed into a wall. He got there nonetheless. Double leg sweep. Chaos Bolt's off to the side, but they're punishing Cubsy for the push. They're going after him. He's got no life cocoon. He's got no Fort Baru. If they could stay on target. Likely Cubsy's Hellstone there, along with some healing elixirs. Cubsy picks himself up. He's going to be careful, just ducking in there with the Chi Torpedoes, looking for those leg sweeps. Both these teams are ready to pounce when they make an aggressive play. And Roasties has survived long enough. Brain has the ability to save him in the future. Both teams look stable, moving into dampening. Perhaps a slight lead for Cubsy in terms of mana at this point. But aside from that, no significant damage. It's going to be devastating for Cloud9 if they lose this game because Wealthy Man is not running the Frost Mage Azurite traits. He does manage to get a full polymorph. Roasties feints the damage of... Wealthy Man is 1v3 right now. Look at him here on the left, just 1v3 the whole team. Trying to get something going, and Chanimal does not want to go anywhere near them with those Gladiator Spites. Roasties tries to poke out for a moment, but instantly is at half health. They're going to have to go after Wealthy Man, stunning him up and forcing him away, but now in the meantime, 2 Chaos Bolts slip through from Chanimal. Frozen Orb is pinning Roasties down, still getting hit quite hard. Brain just used Avenging Wrath. That was it maybe a Vision of Perfection proc? I don't think he's running Vision, so... He shouldn't be... Yeah, it was not a Vision. Those are the big Avenging Wrath wings. He won't have them for Dark Soul or Icy Veins. I'd love to see Cloud9 make a push with that leg sweep from Cubsy.
Ooh, and there it is. Life Cocoon forced out on Wealthy Man. Maybe he overstayed his welcome a little bit. And I mean, what you see Cloud9 doing, this is actually what they need to do. Chanimal is literally just... He's just sitting... during the stage where they're hiding behind the pillar, he's literally just sitting back. Roasty's actually getting hit right now. Vitality Conduit will land. Full blind onto Cubsy once again into a full sap. Can they get his trinket out? Then they're just going to go after the Frost Mage of Wealthy Man. This could easily be his ice block, and it is. Nice setup there by M2KC. Now they just need to get back to the pillar, run away, and that is the difficult thing for the Mage Lock Mistweaver is you really can't do too much if they're just hiding behind the pillar. If they just do hit and run strategies, unless you overextend yourself, there's not too much you can do. That being said, they get a full polymorph. Now Roasties could actually be in some trouble. He gets a preemptive Cloak of Shadows and trading out his trinket as well. Temporal Shield trades out. Brain's still in crowd control. Cloud9 basically doing the best they can right now, getting the crowd control on Brain, isolating Ceruleum and Roasties, but now that they've all grouped up, they're all behind the pillar. M2KC is going to be completely fine, but they did a great job. They got Roasties' Cloak and Trinket, and now he has to play a lot more scared in the match.
So Cubsy's got a Gladiator Safeguard. He's not running a full mana regeneration build. He knows that he could be a target with the Vitality Conduit, so I think that's a nice adjustment. He's also running Grapple Weapon. He's going to be very afraid of the Rogue when Roasties is setting up those Gladiator Spites, so removing the Rogue's weapon is a good counter. Right now, just lobbing out Frozen Orb Blizzard as frequently as possible, cast bolting whoever pokes out and maximizing their damage is Cloud9's position. It's working. We're only at 13% dampening, and we see M2KC being whittled down. They're going after Wealthy Man. They stun him up out in midfield. Meteor called in from Ceruleum. They're baiting a Life Cocoon with this push. They're not going to get it. Grapple Weapon more than enough. Roasty's going to have to retreat. Not worth making the trade any further as he's down to half. Wealthy Man blinks in looking for Polymorph. Gets shut down by Ceruleum. Roasty's is stunned up. Brain's in a fear. Brain Trick gets out. He needs to get in line of sight. Barely ducking around the corner. Picking Roasty's back up with that Vitality Conduit. But even through it, is in danger. Stabilizes with Feint. Cubsy and a Polymorph. Wealthy Man pre-gates the kidney shot. Nicely done by Wealthy Man with that Mortal Coil spam fear from Chanimal. They're actually swapping to Cubsy. They've got him out in midfield. They're lobbing out those Gladiator Spites. Hammer of Justice to follow it up, but Fear's onto Brain. Poly's onto Ceruleum. This is the power of Cloud9's Mage Lock, is just crowd control, endless amounts. Things from Beyond spawning on Cubsy, activating that Rathian Cloak, getting them off, and double Infernal Stun. Big punish here, no cloak for 15. They're on the run around the corner. And M2KC make a quick retreat. This game is on a knife's edge. Even though it appears slow, anytime during these setups, anyone on Cloud9 could be erased. Wealthy Man still down one ice block.
Yep, and I mean, right now, things aren't looking too bad for Cloud9. However, M2KC, if they make a big push onto Wealthy Man and they can get that second ice block, that's going to be a massive victory. I like the way Cloud9 is playing it. This is basically how they have to play it. If they push in too aggressive, they can really get punished. Wealthy Man seems to be the target. Nice leg sweep, as it does get immediately Blessing and Protection by Brain. Nicely done. Mortal Coil now coming in, as it looks like a Polymorph will land. Roasty's forced to use the Cloak of Shadows. Great counter engagement here by Cloud9. That was really well set up by Chanimal. Cubsy actually moving in, and Roasty could just outright die. Bubble, sacrifice, and I mean, Cloud9, they do it better than anyone else. it is so difficult to cause pressure with this composition, especially against a team that's just using the pillar to line of sight and do the hit and run, but they really know how to punish you if you just misstep off the pillar, even for a moment.
I mean, they haven't really even gotten, I mean, not any resolve at the start of the game, but since then, I really haven't been too worried about Cloud9 and their ability to survive. It's M2KC that are constantly being pushed back, and Wealthy Man doesn't even have the correct hazard rate traits. He's missing, like, I don't even know how much damage. Chanimal caught in a Gladiator Spite. Mortal Coils them away, spamming Fear. The strength of the crowd control of Mage Warlock. Just spam Fear and Polymorph, stall the game as much as possible when you're in trouble. But Roasties has to use a defensive smoke bomb to line of sight Chanimal and Wealthy Man. Wealthy Man blinks in aggressively to close this out. Cubsy backs him up with the double leg sweep. That frozen orb is shredding all of M2KC. Brain goes for a big heal. Clutches it out to reverse that situation. It's looking dicey, but Roasty's getting blasted. He's going to duck for cover in the starting area. Ceralium repositioning aggressively here, but feared away. And yeah, back to the pillar, M2KC go. They need to stall. I mean, Brain has nothing. If they swap to him again, he could easily die. Roasty still with no Cloak of Shadows. They've got blind, so maybe they go for a blind spite on Chanimal. Right now, that's the only line I see for M2KC.
I want them to go after Chanimal. Their first go on Chanimal felt so good. Like, I don't know why they're going after Wealthy Man now, especially with this positioning. I mean, you can go after Chanimal. He's sitting on top of his gateway, which is great positioning, and now they're actually going for a big setup here on Roasty with no Cloak of Shadows. He is in a lot of trouble. They use the spite, they get Chanimal's gateway, and now they just need to hide. Gateway has a big enough cooldown where you actually just sit behind the pillar and do nothing once again. Wait, 35% dampening. All you need is one good setup and you can kill through literally everything. But Cubsy not giving them a moment to breathe. Big leg sweep, infernal stun, triple kill potential here for Cloud9 as they go after Cubsy. Ceralium gets interrupted as they flail to survive. Great pressure here by Cloud9, but they might be able to hold on. There was a lot of damage. But the end of it all, I don't think they really had to trade out too many cooldowns, just the Cloak of Shadows from Roasties. And still, like I said, I feel for Chanimal, at this point in the game, this is where it gets really scary. One good spite attempt, they can easily just close it out. M2KC, they just have to hold on for dear life.
All right, let's see if they can hold on. A full Polymorph of Fear. Everyone locked down here. They're going after Roasties. He's got no daggers with that grapple weapon. He shadow step kicks Chanimal, trying to slow down some of the assault here, but the Fear has still been secured out of the Polymorph. Brain hasn't played for the better part of 20 seconds, and Roasties is still being blasted down. There's the blind. They need the spites, but Brain wasn't in position. Finally getting there. The spites are down. They go for the kidney shot. They get the Polymorph, but the Imp dispels it. They're committing everything to kill Chanimal here at 41% dampening. Vitality Conduit activates for Cubsy, redirecting a lot of extra health. Nether Ward for Chanimal. Does he have that cloak to sort of negate the negative corruption effects, as he stood in that circle for quite some time, waiting to see if those things from beyond spawn? Cubsy's still going to respect that spite push, trade out the life cocoon on Chanimal, even though he's at half health and seemingly okay. Now they're getting aggressive. Roasties is stunned up. He's got no Cloak of Shadows. Brain likely needs to make a trade here, and he does. Oh, he almost got feared on his trinket. That timing from Chanimals almost came in very clutch. Now the damage is being redirected to Brain. He has to heal himself back up, but at 45% dampening, that's going to be difficult, or at least cost him a lot of mana. Nice counter spell sniped out by Ceralium. They swap over to Wealthy Man. This is going to be a block if they're not careful. They polymorph the Imp Dispel. They get the block. M2KC keeping themselves in the game here, mixing it up, going after Wealthy Man, but there is still one more ice block, I believe, after that for them to get through if they want to commit to the mage as a target.
Yep, one more ice block left. 47% dampening. Ceralium actually caught into the midfield. Needs to retreat to the pillar once again. Chanimal in that last exchange, despite the big offense there by M2KC, didn't even have to use the unending resolve. So maybe they reconsider their targeting at this point. They should go after Wealthy Man instead. And look at this gateway positioning from Chanimal as well. I'll put that on the table for just a second as Wealthy Man is being attacked. A Vitality Conduit comes in from Cubsy. More than enough defense for Wealthy Man to survive. Roasty's actually going to continue the push. They're just going for it. Brain pushing in. Hammer of Justice lands onto Cubsy. Can they push forward? Chanimal really punishing here. The Infernal Stun comes in. Nice interrupt by Ceralium, slowing down Chanimal. Polymorphs as well as they continue to make this offensive push onto Wealthy Man. But Brain and Roasty's forced to the pillar once again as Chanimal swats them away with his Infernals.
Mana is starting to go ahead here for Cloud9, and I mean the pressure is going to stick. 52% healing reduction. Any damage you do now is basically going to sit for the rest of the match. Brain is trying to stabilize, but he's rotting down to just Blizzard and Rain of Fire. He's being AoE'd down harder than Trash Mobs and Scarlet Monastery and Classic WoW at the moment. Cubsy's rolling up, trying to get crowd control on Roasties. Channel escapes that Gladiator Spite attempt. They knock Roasties out into midfield. He's got no Cloak of Shadows. They're blasting him down with the Ray of Frost. Brain trades out the Sacrifice, but once again, it stops damage on Roasties, but it redirects it back to Brain, so it's still going to be effective damage, and they're pushing for a triple kill at the moment. Weltyman just sniping Cerealium from the left side. He's nowhere near Brain. Brain goes for a big heal, barely clutching it, but not before the Cauterize had been forced. Brain is stunned up. Cerealium's interrupted. Chaos Bolts are flying in. They paralyze Brain. He can't heal with the Avenging Wrath for one more second. Is he going to be able to stabilize the team? Weltyman blinks in. They polymorph him. They go for a Shadow Step Kidney on the Chanimal, but they don't have Gladiator Spikes. There's no way they're even going to dent him. They go for a blind sap, but Cerealium has to ice block. M2KC, it just feels like they're too far behind at this point in the game, but they're still pushing for it. Cubsy comes out of the sap, gets the life cocoon, looks more like a powered shield at 60% dampening. They cut through that pretty quickly. There's so much stabilizing. I mean, Brain is legendary on this Paladin, keeping his team even at half health at 60% dampening. I'm not sure, though, how much longer. Roasties with no Cloak of Shadows. Brain needs to cast a heal, but there's an interrupt. They fake out the counterspell. Can Brain stabilize here? Roasties at 10%. Brain just Divine Shields before crowd control even lands, but I mean, it's just a losing battle. Cerealium blinks into Polymorph. Cubsy instantly dispelled. Cubsy rolls up for a double stun, and M2KC are in a world of trouble. Brain is legendary, but is he a god? Holding on at 10% life here for his team. No ice block, no cloak. Everybody is dying, and Cloud9 finally close it out, netting a kill on Cerealium.
All right, this is truly, it was truly incredible to see what Brain was able to do, right? To be able to stay alive that long. But Zico, you talked a lot about gear and how Jamili's gear just really put him in a terrible spot. Yeah, after they switch him out, they're able to win the series. Cloud9 is able to pull off a win with the mage wearing the wrong Azure traits. How does that happen when you've already shown how important gear really can be, and then Cloud9 is able to net this victory?
Well, yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think Weltyman is one of the mages that typically does gear his character pretty well, and I mean, that's just a mistake from, you know, being fire and then swapping to frost that maybe didn't check it, but definitely, I mean, things like that add up. You lose out a lot of damage, you know? Like, sure, you keep your HP and everything from the Azurite, but you lose out on things like Tunnel of Ice, Heart of Darkness. You lose a lot of stats and a lot of bonus damage. So, you know, especially in those late dampening games, that damage really adds up.
Well, let's take a look at how everything did add up in that series. Were there any moments in particular that you wanted to highlight?
Yeah, we have a little replay, and basically it's a nice kind of way to show exactly why it's so hard to do anything to C9. You're gonna have, you know, the rogue getting a shadow step kick, going out, getting the kidney shot, going for the smoke bomb, but as soon as that play is happening, you can see Cubsy is starting to deflect it. He goes in, drops the disarm on the rogue. You can see the mage is getting feared by Chanimal, and then even a Ring of Peace to keep the rogue longer in the opener with those Frost Mage Snows. And then as soon as that setup has been shut down before it even happened, they're all back in that checkmate position behind the pillar, and that's when the Frost Mage can start spamming the orb, pressing the blizzards, and start getting that poke damage that ultimately will be, you know, the Rogue Mage team's demise if the game drags on for long enough.
It is, like, even while watching those highlights, watching Brain and what he's able to do is truly insane. A billion IQ on that one, an absolute live lord. But I'm assuming when we do jump into the next one, Venruki, we are going to see Weltyman have even more damage just off the back of switching his Azure traits. Pretty much anything that he does at this point, when we do get to Hug Point, is going to result in more damage for Cloud9, more pressure for Cloud9. They had pressure throughout the entirety of that first game, so more pressure just seems like more goodness for Cloud9. What can M2KC do when they know they're going into an even more difficult matchup here, even when they do get to select the map?
They just need to clean it up. honestly, I think M2KC has a composition that can win. I think they have a strategy that can win, but they just weren't executing on that strategy. Their goes became a lot more sloppy as the game went on. I think Cloud9, their defense is strong. Like I said, their positioning is great. Even just the use of Gateway. You don't really see too many Warlock mages do this. You don't really see any at all, but when they have someone pinned down at a pillar, Chanimal literally puts his gate from him to Wealthy Man. So if they go after Wealthy Man, he can gate away to Chanimal. If they go after Chanimal, he can gate away to Wealthy Man. And it's just really great to see. And obviously they have this down to a science at this point with how many times they've dampened teams in these tournaments. But they have a solid defense. It's really hard to push through. But that being said, I think M2KC, basically what they should be doing is Ceruleum. He needs to be saving his counterspell for Polymorph. And then when they want to go, he has to counterspell Polymorph. They have to push on Chanimal, get him in a kidney shot, spite him as often as you can. Get crowd control onto Wealthy Man. Obviously, it's easier said than done, but that's essentially the setup we need to see over and over and over. And if that's not happening, we don't see the counterspell on Polymorph onto Wealthy Man. Wealthy Man is just going to dismantle their offense. He's going to get a Polymorph on Roasties, onto Ceruleum, onto Roasties, and then he's going to polymorph Brain, and that's when all the pressure turns around. Ceruleum and Roasties are forced to run away, and I feel like these setups really do come down to Ceruleum shutting down Wealthy Man on their pushes, and if he's not doing that, they're not going to win.
Okay, now that we do have that in mind and we are moving to Hook Point, Sid, I want to hear your thoughts before we actually do jump in, and I want to refresh everyone really quickly. This is a matchup between two teams that have not lost yet, so if we do see one of these squads lose, which obviously isn't going to happen in this game, but when we do see one of these squads lose, they are going to be dropping down to the lower side of the bracket. But before we jump into Hook Point, Sid, I do want to hear your thoughts.
M2KC, when they have Spite, should go after Chanimal. When they don't have Spite, I feel like they should use the next kidney shot either on Wealthy Man or Cubsy. On this map, I think they have more of a choice to use it on Cubsy and try and go after him. That would be like a standard strat I see for them. The all-in strat would be they just start the fight on Cubsy, they sap him, and they spite him 3 times and try and kill him just outright in the opener. That could work for them on hook points. So they have a few options. Whereas Cloud9, their option is spam Fierce, spam Polymorph, don't die for 15 minutes, and then watch the other team just rot and die of old age behind the pillar to Rain of Fire and Blizzard. I don't really think there's much surprise for Cloud9 in terms of their decision making. They're more of the defensive team. They just need to deflect everything and deny all opportunities from M2KC until M2KC just kind of die behind the pillar.
Time, the ultimate weapon. Will Cloud9 use it again to their advantage? Will they go for deep dampening? It seems to be a thing that their composition does like to do, but also more pressure is inevitable. Wealthy Man, most likely this time around, will have the right gear on as we do get game number 2 started.
Ooh, Cubsy actually trinketed blind into a full sheep here. Didn't get a life cocoon off. Wealthy Man could still be in trouble. Did he have more CC to get the sap? Did he have a smoke bomb here potentially by Roasties? He does drop it, but Wealthy Man saved 1 blink. Gonna be able to escape through that situation. Whoa. With all of his cooldowns, and Roasty's now taking a big hit there. Pre-feint on the leg sweep. Brain doing a good job here keeping his teammates alive. They were able to get Cubsy's trinket with that blind, so I assume M2KC are just going to pull back and then pop a combustion potentially on to Cubsy, but they are taking a lot of damage right now.
He just cloaked. He was behind a pillar. He was running away, and he had to cloak. There wasn't Dark Soul, Icy Veins, Frozen. There wasn't anything, and they're actually not running Spite. They're running Maledict. So this could be interesting. I'm curious who's going to be the next target here.
Azorites, man.
Cubsy's got his no Glider's medallion. I would imagine Roasties wants to swap to Cubsy. He's in stealth right next to him. Kidney shot. Brain needs to get in position. 1 Glider's Maledict has launched, but it's Fear on Ceruleum, Polymorph on Brain. It's just Roasties on a solo mission. Roasties is not going to kill Cubsy all by himself. Cubsy Ring of Pieces the retreat path of Brain and Ceruleum. It looks like Ceruleum doesn't even want to run away. That's a bold decision facing down the barrel of a Mage Lock. He's just polymorphing Cubsy, but Roasties is feared. He can't get any damage. Ceruleum's not going to solo their team, and M2KC just need to retreat at this point. Making like a damage trade out in the midfield with no crowd control doesn't seem favorable. Roasties is trying to develop some combo points. Goes for the kidney shot. Brain charges in, gets the stun. Good crowd control, but Roasties got pre-grapple weaponed on that stun, so he didn't really get any damage. They go for stun, blinding light, and that gets a life cocoon from Cubsy. which seems like more than a fair trade. I guess it's actually not the best. I mean, Combustion and Vendetta are available, and there won't be Life Cocoon. Could be an opportunity if they can survive to that opportunity.
Big damage with the Frozen Orb. Nice ring of peace there by Cubsy, and that's the one thing about Cubsy. He really backs up Chanimal and Wealthy Man on their offense. He did it so much on the Restoration Druid, more so than any Resto Druid I've ever seen. And on the Mistweaver Monk, he also does a tremendous job with the Ring of Peace, with the Life Sweeps, with the Paralyze. Really beautiful to see. And M2KC, I really like the build that they're running. They're going to be using a ton of on-use trinkets. So Stralium, he's using Maledict as well as Claw. Brain is using the same. And then, well, Roasties is going to be using Maledict. So they have a ton of offensive trinkets that they can rotate throughout the game, and that's going to really accelerate their offense when they can find crowd control. In the meantime, Brain forced to use his trinket and the sacrifice during that push onto Ceralium. Good pressure here for Cloud9. I mean, if we look at potential openings here for M2KC, at this point, there really aren't any. I mean, Wealthy Man, both blocks, Chanimal, Unending Resolve, Hammer of Justice now into Cubsy. Nice push here to get the Polymorph onto Cubsy, but I think it actually got dispelled, and Chanimal playing that Imp makes the offense really difficult for M2KC. Just dispelling off all of those Polymorphs makes it an absolute nightmare for Ceralium to get significant crowd control.
Nice pre-feint here by Roasties on that leg sweep. Should be enough to keep him alive. Using that tank trinket as well. Brain still in a fear. No more crowd control though. Brain's going to be able to top up Roasties there with that Holy Light. And now another setup here onto Wealthy Man. But it looks like Cubsy is going to be able to brush that off easily. Here comes the blind. Cubsy knows if he trinkets it, he could be an exposed target. But it's Roasties having to trinket here, using his Cloak of Shadows. And something kept Cubsy in combat there, so he wasn't able to get the sap. But Ceralium, good job there backing up his teammate, getting the Polymorph out of that cheap shot. But still, where is the damage? Ceralium with the super #Zard combust there. Mega late. Will it be enough? Wealthy Man trinkets out, blinks out of the smoke bomb, lands a poly onto Brain, and now they're looking to reverse the pressure, but Roasties already aware and line of sighting. Nice rain of fire though. Should keep him in combat at least from re-stealthing, and C9 deflects another blind attempt without Cubsy having to use his trinket.
Yeah, solid defense from Cloud9 nonetheless. Brain fully feared. Roasties in trouble. How are they going to respond to the situation? Lingering Psychic Shell from Roasties activates, absorbing the hit. Stun up onto Wealthy Man. M2KC desperately trying to push for a major cooldown from Cloud9, but as Roasties pushes forward, he gets grapple weaponed with no daggers. He's not even going to dent Wealthy Man. Brain has Mortal Cold on his Divine Favor. Roasties is still very low on health. Polymorph on the Divine Favor. He sacrifices with trinkets, so that little bit of extra crowd control from Cloud9 netted them a very important cooldown, the sacrifice and the Gliders Medallion from Brain. And even though we saw Mage Lock get stomped yesterday in Europe, Method Black's team went down to Rogue Mage almost instantaneously. Cloud9, I feel like, are just an entirely different Mage Lock. They make it work even into the matchups that when other people try, they just absolutely fail. It doesn't even look close.
I mean, that's been the story of Cloud9, right? I mean, Mage Lock, obviously really, really strong right now. A lot of teams are implementing it. But a big setup here on Roasties. He could just outright die. 2 big Chaos Bolts land. And that is it. Cubsy moves in with the Rising Sun kick. And it's like you were saying, Sid. And I was trying to touch on that. Cloud9, their Mage Lock, they're not. This isn't just a Mage Lock we're talking about. This is Cloud9. They play this composition about as perfect as you can play it. And they are winning these matchups that, you know, other Mage Locks probably would not win. And it's just, at this point, it's crazy. No one has an answer for Cloud9. No one can beat them.
I mean, not to harp on it, but what other team could actually wear the wrong Azurite gear and still be able to net a win, right? That's how they start off the series. Like, it's funny. It's obviously something, it's an understandable mistake, right? I mean, anybody who's playing the game is still human at the end of the day, even if they're one of the best players in the entirety of the world. But to be able to still get a win off of that is wild. Then you come into the second game, a composition which usually thrives in dampening. I think they get to what, like 3%, 4% dampening, Zico? Let's actually talk about how Cloud9 is able to get the victory, because I think Ven really did say it the best. This isn't just the composition that you're playing into. You're playing into one of the best teams to do it.
Well, that's exactly what it is. Cloud9 knows every single matchup. They know their win condition. And it's not just that they're so good at shutting down these setups, especially Chanimal. but it's also the fact that they're so good at setting up the offense. As soon as they defend, a setup, they shut down the CC chain. Janimal gets an imp dispel on a poly, or they fear the mage or counterspell the mage before he can land that CC. They're so quick to capitalize on it as well and turn that situation back on the enemy team, CCing their healer, setting up stuns on their rogue, and being able to get those wins.
Now,
there was only really one moment in that entire game where C9 could have even lost, and that was right at the start when Cubsy trinketed that blind. There was an attempt where he got stunned, and he could have gone down, but Seralim was in a full fear during that, so nothing came of it, and that was literally the only time they were even in trouble. The rest of the game, they were just coasting.
There's really no reason to talk about this right now, but I'm genuinely curious what you guys think. This is not a thing that we need to be thinking about today at all, though. I'm genuinely curious. How do you think Cloud9 stacks up against a lot of the European teams, Ven? Like, what do you think those games would look like?
I think they've proven that they're more than a match, or more than a handful for the European teams, because it's like we've been saying, you can play against Mage Lock, but it's really difficult to practice against Cloud9 specifically. So I think this team, the way they play, how impenetrable their defense is, the offense they're able to set up because of how how much synergy all of them have, as well as just Cubsy assisting them in that offense. I don't know. I mean, Cloud9, I think they would be more than an even match for any of the European rosters right now.
Somebody in chat, and I'm sorry I missed your name, but somebody said, it must be boring being that good. And it really does feel like one of those things where it's like Cloud9 wept for there were no more teams left to conquer. As we do move into Dalaran Sewers, it seems almost like an inevitability that they are going to find a 3-0 here. Sid, what do you think M2KC can do to change their fate?
They could try the Windwalker Mage strat and run laps on the map and maybe do Cubsy swaps over and over with Windwalker Mage. I feel like that could be a good option for them. The Windwalker's going to move a lot better than the Rogue. And then they could even do Spite too, with the Ring of Peace to help them with the roots from the Windwalker to keep Chanimal in it later on. That's the comp that has won them or brought them the most success. But they're going to tag in Roasties again on match points. And they're banking on this Rogue Mage Paladin to get them a win. I do think Rogue Mage Paladin of any comp should have the highest potential to beat the Mage Warlock. And it's one of those things where it's like, people are hating on Cloud9 for dampening, but are you hating on them just because they're too good? Because there are other Mage Locks that don't win all of the time. So are you hating them because they're dampening you? Or are you hating them because they're too good? Maybe it's a little bit of both, but Cloud9's Mage Lock is easily uncontested.
All right, M2KC going to be locking in their composition on Dalaran Sewers, which could be the last game in the series. One more time, though, this will not be their last game, even if they do lose here. We are going to see the squad, if they are not able to extend this series, drop down to the lower side of the bracket. And this is a team, right, where they really do look like they still have a fantastic chance on a deep run in this tournament. They look fantastic, but when you're going up against Cloud9, it never is something that you really do want to have to do. We already talked about how good they look globally, and even when we talked a little bit earlier about obviously something that doesn't matter in the current format, but if seeding was a thing, the one team that you're really looking to avoid playing against would be Cloud9 if that was a factor. But right now, all we're going to be thinking about is Dalaran Sewers. Zico, how do you think this one's going to play out?
I think this could be a flush 3-0 here in the sewers. We're going to see if Cloud9 can do it. Mage, Warlock, and Mistweaver against Rogue Mage Paladin. I think the Rogue Mage Paladin has a pretty nice advantage on this map. Brain can just run across to Cubsy, hard jam into a blinding light. They can secure a sap. They can potentially find openings like that. I'm not sure if they are playing the Gladiator Spite. It doesn't look like anybody on their RM Pala team is playing it. So I expect Wealthy Man to the main target here.
Yep. Let's see what M2KC is able to get done. Can they actually push through that Cloud9 defense? Can they get anything rolling? I mean, M2KC, if they want to win this, they have to basically play perfectly offensively, get the best setups they possibly can. And that's what I want to see. Seralian, he gets the interrupt on the polymorph. Nicely done. Australian will be pushing forward, looking for a potential polymorph here on a Cubsy, but he's getting feared up. Chanimal denies, and just great stoppage there by Cloud9. And now it's M2KC once again on the back foot.
Shadow Fury Stunlock here onto Roasties early on match point. They already net click of Shadows 1 minute into the game, and Cloud9 are playing this a lot more aggressively, likely because Wealthy Man's able to do a bit more damage with the correct Azurite traits. Now, this is the final form of Cloud9. It was almost like he was wearing weighted clothing. Look at this pressure onto Roasties, just endless. Wealthy Man is just standing right on top of Brain. He's going to have full control if he's able to get away like this. Roastie's feared off into the distance. Brain has to reposition to pick him back up, but now he's left the pillar. Chanimal looks to snipe a fear, not able to find it. Looking to fake cast an interrupt too from Roasties. Roasties still holding onto his kick. Brain is just hugging the pillar, but Roasties is getting dragged out. Brain is going to have to leave the defense of the pillar. Roasties is just getting owned. That the Vitality conduit, just nothing there, just damage. Brain has to trade. Weltman blinks in, snipes the polymorph, and the map is backfiring for M2KC. Roasties stun locked by Mortal Coil into Infernal. He steps in for a kick on the Chanimal. Wealthy Man lobbing out Frostbolts. Brain looking to stabilize with Avenging Wrath. Even with Avenging Wrath, Roasties is sub 50%. Wealthy Man blinks in for another poly, gets intercepted by Ceralium. Brain needs to clutch out some big heals here. Ceralium now getting blasted. This isn't even the Dark Soul of Chanimal. Cloud9 are looking like tyrants here in Game 3.
Yeah, Cloud9 are just kind of done playing around right now. They just want to end this game. You can see Wealthy Man with a beautiful Shimmer polymorph. There's the Frozen Orb. There is the setup. Another leg sweep's going to come out onto Roasties.
That's
There's
it?
going to be some cooldowns from Brain.
Oh,
what is he going to do? Cubsy, though, getting swapped to. Using his, I'm not sure, was that a human racial right there from Cubsy? I'm pretty sure it was. There is a 30-second gap where you can use that. So Cubsy, I'm pretty sure, won't have a trinket right now. That was a close call, but Brain is going to be able to save the day with that Hand of Sacrifice. And both teams right now in an exposed situation.
Wow, that was absolutely unbelievable. Brain coming in at the last second with that sacrifice, keeping Rosie alive. I'm sure Cloud9 cannot believe it at this point, but it was good counter engagement onto Cubsy as well, making a setup there, making the best of a bad situation, and at least getting the life cocoon from Cubsy. Brain now into a polymorph once again, as you can tell. I mean, Cloud9 in game number 1, they looked a lot more afraid of pushing in, overextending their position, but right now they seem like they're perfectly willing to just push in, get crowd control, get damage rolling when they need to, and it seems really difficult for M2KC to set up, and I think just the fact that Chanimal is running this Imp is really mixing up this matchup. It becomes much more difficult. I mean, Ceralium, even if he gets a polymorph, it just gets singed, it gets dispelled, and then immediately you see M2KC on the back foot. So that little mix-up of playing the Imp Dispel has definitely thrown M2KC for a loop.
I feel like it's wrong to not play Spite as Rogue Mage Paladin into Mage Lark Mistweaver. I feel like they had to play so cautiously because Spite was always a threat. Now that it's not a threat, Cloud9 can do whatever they want. I mean, Ultimate's literally standing on top of Brain, polymorphing him, fearing Ceralium, creating 3 versus 1 situations so frequently. A full fear out of the polymorph. Cloak of Shadows is about to fade. Roasties could have to vanish. He's caught in a Frozen Orb. He shadow steps out to get back to the boxes, but Brain is still polymorphed. He gets Conflagrate rooted into an Infernal Stun. One more polymorph. Brain has to Trinket. A 1-second polymorph. Cloud9 are looking solid here, but Ceralium gets a setup. Beautiful counterplay with that polymorph, but Imp Dispel from Chanimal removes it, and it looks like they're not going to have to trade anything of significance. Cloud9 stabilized, but Ceralium is showing that their team has potential.
Ceralium actually used his human racial right there on a leg sweep, so if he gets caught up in a stun, that could be big trouble for him later on. He's going to be stuck in that situation. Roasties, no Cloak of Shadows for a really long time. However, he does have his trinkets. Ceralium going for a Greater Pyroblast. Gets reflected by Chan. He's going for the fears. Let's see if they can set something up. They're looking for a fear onto Brain. He lands it. Pre-Vitality Conduit, though. Roasties should be okay for now, but Wealthy Man blinks in, gets the polymorph. Immediate bubble right there. And I think that's the right call. Roasties, for sure, was going to be in trouble right there. But honestly, I think Roasties could just line of sight a little bit more in those situations. Like, as soon as Brain gets fully feared, he can just run away, and I think they can hold on to a lot of these cooldowns because C9 also likes going after healers, and now Brain could be an exposed target as well.
Yep, caught by himself behind the pillar. Cubsy in a prime position to maybe move in for a leg sweep if he has it off cooldown, which he does, but it looks like they're just going to be going for the polymorph. But Roasties with a counter attack here, full blind now onto Cubsy. Where's the damage? And actually, I think it was a preemptive Vitality Conduit by Cubsy, completely shutting down that go. Cerulean with his Greater Power Blast actually gets reflected, and that's one adaptation we're seeing from Cerulean. Just the fact that he has Greater Power Blast and wants to get more of a casted threat in the match, but unfortunately, it doesn't seem like he's really been able to get off any whatsoever. He's getting crowd controlled, he's getting Ring of Peace, Counterspell, Feared, Polymorph, but at least having that threat, it might work out for them if they can get lucky. Cubsy now in a kitty shot. Big damage rolling here for Cerulean with the combustion. Or actually, that wasn't even the combustion. They didn't really commit to that offense. Now it's Brain that's in trouble. Might just outright die. He has everything up and available, but unfortunately, there's no Divine Shield. It looks like the Vitality Conduit will be more than enough for Brain to survive. Great counter engagement by Cloud9 once again. But Brain doing an excellent job holding on.
Brain is so lucky there. The Imp actually saved him in a way. If there was a spell lock, there's no way he would have got away with just casting in the face. Roasties gets stunned up out in midfield again. He pre-feints it, but he's still down at half health. Chanimal looking to bait kicks with Fear. Finds some Chaos Bolts. Now there's no interrupts. Chanimal can have free reign. Fearing Roasties out into the open. Welterman trying to get in line of sight to cast Frostbolts as well. Cerulean finds a Greater Pyroblast. Nether Ward from Chanimal. I think that one's going back at Cerulean. He goes for a second one, but gets interrupted. Now there's a Polymorph on Brain. There's a Mortal Coil into a leg sweep. No, 10 seconds away. Grapple Weapon on the Trinket. Roasty still whittled down. Line of sighting at the pillar with Cloak of Shadows. Greater Pyro. Finding that, Cerulean going to Temporal Shield the Chaos Bolt and try and find another. Channel will get a duck for cover off the side staircase. Get picked up by Cubsy. No more Greater Pyroblast onto him. It looks like Wealthy Man is the target of this Greater Pyroblast. That's going to be just flying out. They're not stopping it. They go for a counterspell on the second one. Frozen Orb Blizzard on the whole team on the boxes here. Brain repositioned slightly back from his team. That way he doesn't reset the cooldown of the Frozen Orb faster for Wealthy Man. Like that positioning. But Cerulean and Roasties are being blasted. They're trying to push in for damage. Cerulean is just teeing off like a cannon here with these Greater Pyros. He finds two onto Chanimal. One was Nether Warded though. Man, these Nether Wards from Chanimal, so difficult for Cerulean to find any pressure. He Polymorphs Wealthy Man overextended. Cubsy repositions to Dispel, but Cloud9 have a chokehold. Brain's mana is down to half, and every time I see Roasties in the stun, I'm worried he's just going to fall over.
Yeah, big push here again from C9, but most of the defense here on the side of M2KC is rotating back up after that really close call onto Brain. Full blind on the Cubsy, he's going to Trinket out late and use that Life Cocoon. So in about a minute from now, there's going to be a big window where potentially M2KC can kill Cubsy. He's going to need to be extremely careful with how he positions, and if he gets stunned without pre-Fort Brewing, he most likely could die there. So we see now push onto Roasties though. Let's see what they can get done. Full sheep onto Brain. He might just have to Trinket that one. Frozen Orb comes out. Roasties though in big trouble. Brain really making a mistake here. I think not Trinketing could be. There it is.
This one, a crazy series all the way through and through. I'm actually getting to watch those final moments of the game play out just one more time, Zico.